Hi, so this is my first upload video for a while. Back to boxing. Obviously it's a big weekend, this weekend of boxing. I'm starting tomorrow night with Tony Yoka fighting Christian Hammer. Um, definitely, definitely a step up for Tony Yoka. Against Christian Hammer. Hammer has been beat a few times, but has only been beaten really by fighters who are basically world level. And Tony Yoka hasn't really faced anyone in the pro game yet who's at that level, so it should be an interesting fight there over in France. Obviously, it's live over here as well, actually. So that'd be good. I'm gonna watch that and see how he gets on. And then obviously we'll move on to the card overnight on Friday night, Saturday morning over here in the UK. Obviously, this is a US card headlined by Danny Jacobs and Gabriel Rosado. It's going to be a good scrap. We know that Rosado comes to fight no matter who he's facing. He's obviously got a few losses on his record, but obviously I think these fighters who come to fight are a good proposition for Eddie Hearn, like Matchroom, Top Rank, etc. Because at the end of the day, you want an exciting fight, especially at the minute with COVID and no fans allowed in at the minute. But hopefully that's going to change. I think that's going to change maybe next week, so that's cool. In the UK at least, I don't know obviously what the situation is in America with fans. But yeah, so that's looking like it's going to be a good fight. I favour Danny Jacobs to win the fight. I think it's going to be tough. Rosario is going to give it a go. I do think Jacobs' boxing ability will be enough, and I think Rosario's tough, but I do think Jacobs has probably got the power to put him to knock him out late on in the fight, maybe between rounds 8 to 12. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that fight. Looking forward to, and then obviously we'll move on to the big card in the UK on Saturday night. Obviously headlined by Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois. Both fighters unbeaten. Obviously this fight is for the British, the Commonwealth, the European, the WBO international title and the WBC silver title. So not only do he become sort of British Commonwealth and European champion, but he also ranked in the top 10 in the world in the WBC ranking and the WBO ranking, which with all due respect to the British Commonwealth and European belts, which obviously I respect them highly, that's a stepping stone, but realistically I would be surprised if the winner of this fight keeps the British and Commonwealth belt and the European belt. I think they will probably vacate, knowing that they're closer to a world title shot, being in the top 10 in the rankings in the WBO and WBC. Potentially as well when it comes to the WBO belt, if Joshua was to vacate, the winner of this fight could fight Usyk for the vacant WBO championship. So that's another thing that you've got to think about. I think it's a good fight. I think obviously both unbeaten. I think Joe Joyce has been in there with the better opposition, if I'm honest. I think obviously Stavern, obviously he's been a world champ. I think was he a world champion? I think yeah, Stavern was. I think Stavern's been in there at a higher level. So I think the Stavern win, and especially that win against Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings who basically obviously Brian Jennings who was tough. And Brian Jennings that's been at world level. So for me, I think especially also Dubois' amateur pedigree, and he beat guys like Tony Yoka and Usyk and stuff in the amateurs. So I think Joyce will win the fight. I'm predicting either on points or late stoppage. I think obviously Dubois has beaten the guys who's been put in front of him, and that's all he can do really. He had a bit of a test against Gorman, but obviously Gorman got stopped in 5 rounds, which was a bit disappointing that it only went 5 rounds. But obviously, Dubois beat him at the end of the year and beat him well. So, but I just think the level of opponent Dubois has been fighting to the level of opponent Joyce has been fighting will give the edge to Joyce. Yeah, so that's what I think about that fight. I think it's going to be a decent fight, and underneath that, obviously, there's a few fights on that card. David Adley is fighting again. I believe that the co-main event is for a WBO European title, so that's not bad co-main event really, because it's a minor world. It's not obviously it's not a world title, but it's a minor belt that gets you in the top 15 in the rankings in the WBO. So I think those titles now, I think, are becoming more important to go up the rankings, because you're finding that some boxers now are being fast tracked on doing the traditional route of English and British and European. That's just not happening with some of these boxers now. So yeah, and obviously stateside is another card on Saturday night, which is obviously Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson in an exhibition fight. So that's going to be interesting. But obviously fighting on the undercard of that is Jake Paul against Nate someone. So that's interesting, and obviously Badou Jack's gonna be coming back on that fight. Obviously Badou Jack. So I don't know. Was it his last fight? I think in his last fight, suffered a really bad cut. So it'd be interesting to see what's left of Badou Jack. As we all know, Badou Jack has been a great fighter over the years, but what's left, I think he's obviously aging now, so it'd be interesting to see what is left for Badou Jack. So yeah, so my predictions are Danny Jacobs win. Obviously Tony Yoga to win. I think Joyce will win as well. Yeah, and so in the prediction, I'm not going to do a prediction for the exhibition fight because I don't see the point. But yeah, so that's what my predictions are and my little rundown of this weekend's action. I'll do a review of the action on either Sunday or Monday. So look out for that. Thank you for watching. And also, as obviously at the moment, especially we're in end of November, December's quite a busy month for boxing. So obviously, these videos will be quite regular with boxing, but also I'm gonna do content about NFL as well, and maybe just some general life stuff and advice and stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching again. Take care of yourselves and God bless.